We finally have confirmation that Francesca and Michaela will take center stage in Bridgerton Season 5, but there's a deeper layer to their story that most people are completely overlooking, and it changes everything about how we understand their relationship. While many fans are going into this season expecting another sweeping romance filled with longing glances and emotional confessions, the real narrative driving this story is something far more complex. It's not just about love. It's about power, control, and emotional leverage. After the time jump and the devastating loss of John Stirling, Francesca is no longer the same woman we once knew. She isn't defined by her grief anymore. Instead, she has quietly reshaped her entire life around it. She has endured heartbreak at its deepest level, and come out the other side with a kind of strength that fundamentally alters her position in the story. This is where the biggest misunderstanding begins. Francesca is not entering Season 5 as someone fragile or in need of saving. She's entering as someone who has already survived the worst, and that gives her a kind of control that no one is talking about. And that's where Michaela's return becomes incredibly complicated. Because when Michaela left, she didn't just step away casually. She left at the exact moment Francesca needed her the most. That absence matters. It creates a fracture that doesn't just disappear with time. So when Michaela comes back into Francesca's life, expecting familiarity or even forgiveness, she's walking into a situation where the emotional balance is already tilted against her. She isn't coming back as an equal partner in a love story. She's coming back as someone who has to rebuild trust from the ground up. This flips the entire Bridgerton formula on its head. Usually, both leads meet on uncertain footing, discovering each other as the story unfolds. But here, that uncertainty is one-sided. Francesca already knows what loss feels like. She already knows what it means to be abandoned emotionally. Michaela, on the other hand, is now forced into a position where she has to prove herself in every interaction. That imbalance creates a completely different kind of tension. One that's quieter, more restrained, but far more intense. Francesca holds the emotional power in this story, and it shows in the smallest moments. A pause in her response, a hesitant glance, a decision to step back instead of forward. These carry more weight than any dramatic declaration ever could. Michaela, meanwhile, is constantly reacting, trying to close a distance that she herself created. Every bit of warmth Francesca offers feels earned, not given freely, and that changes how we experience their connection as an audience. What makes this even more interesting is that the central question of the season isn't whether Francesca has feelings. That part is almost a given. The real question is whether she's willing to act on those feelings again. And that's a much more difficult journey. Because love, in this case, isn't the obstacle, trust is. Francesca isn't afraid of loving someone. She's afraid of what happens when that trust is broken again. That distinction is crucial because it reshapes the entire emotional arc of the season. Winning someone's heart is one thing. Earning back their trust is something else entirely. It takes time, patience, and a willingness to accept that forgiveness doesn't happen all at once. And that's where the story becomes truly compelling. Instead of a single grand gesture resolving everything, we're likely to see a slow, gradual rebuilding, one moment at a time. Michaela might try to fix things in big, dramatic ways, but those gestures may not be enough. Because for Francesca, healing isn't about being convinced. It's about feeling safe again. And that kind of safety can't be rushed. It has to be built carefully, piece by piece, with every interaction carrying weight and consequence. This approach makes Francesca one of the most active and emotionally complex protagonists the series has ever had. She's not being swept up in romance or pulled along by circumstances. She's making deliberate choices about what she wants, what she's willing to risk, and how much of herself she's ready to give. That level of control over her own narrative is something we haven't seen before in this way. So when we look at where Season 5 is heading, the real question isn't about the destination. It's not simply about whether Francesca and Michaela end up together. It's about the journey it takes to get there, and whether Francesca can truly open herself up again after everything she's been through. Because in the end, this isn't just a love story. It's a story about resilience, about boundaries, and about the difficult process of learning to trust again when that trust has been broken. And that's what makes this season feel different. It's quieter, more introspective, and emotionally layered in a way that goes beyond the usual romance. It's not about falling in love for the first time. It's about deciding whether love is worth the risk the second time around. And that decision belongs entirely to Francesca.